Hello, we are back with another episode of our coaching series. Gabe and I are joined by one of the coolest and best assistant coaches in the country, Wes Brooks from Ohio State, who is coming to us live from Sweden. Coach, thanks for coming on and hanging out with us a bit.
No problem. Glad to be here.
Man, so incredible season. I fell in love with the Buckeyes pretty early on. Started the season 16-0 and basically shocked the world by not allowing UConn to get back to an Elite Eight. I want to start at that game.
Oh, absolutely.
I was trying to rattle my brain and the archives to see when the last time Gino's team committed 25 turnovers in a game. I guess give me a vibe on the confidence of the team this year. I mean, so many weapons, but offensively, defensively, just what it's hard to imagine a team coming in against UConn, where UConn is just a absolute favorite. Everyone expects them to win, but the Buckeyes are fearless from the get-go.
Yeah, well, I think it has a lot to do with, and one of the underrated things about our team this year had a lot to do with how we finished last year. We were the Big Ten champions. We were co-season champions with Iowa, so we were Big Ten champs. And then we made it to the Sweet 16. We beat LSU at LSU. So the last time LSU lost an NCAA tournament game is to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Right. So we beat them on their home court. So that game right there, I would say, kind of propelled us into this season. And then we eventually last season went on to lose to Texas. But that game was one. I mean, we just didn't get a shot off. We thought we should have won that game too. So and if we did, obviously you're looking at back-to-back Elite Eights. But we have a very confident team. Taylor Mikesell, who just got drafted by the Fever, was part of that. That's one of the reasons she decided to come back, because she thought we could do what we did this year. Unfortunately, we had injuries with Madison and JC, but our team chemistry is magical. The girls believe in each other. They believe in what they do. They buy into what they do. Coach McGuff instills that in our girls. Coach Carla, who is our associate head coach, Carla Morrow, she instills that in our girls. And so we have a special group who believe in one another. And because of that belief, it translates on and off the court. And then just to your point with UConn, I mean, we fear nobody. As Cody said in the press conference, they're a very good team, a historic program. But I think people are starting to understand with that Ohio State's pretty good too. And we're good at what we do. So we just always say, hey, our best is good enough. And so we just go play our game.
And so you mentioned Taylor, and we actually got to talk to her at the WNBA draft. And, I thought she was, and I told her this, I thought she's the best shooter in the draft. I mean, and the numbers bear that out. She was one of the best shooters in college basketball. And she, she has that dog in her, as we like to say around here. And it really came out throughout the season. And what do you think is one of the best things she brought to the team? Because I think a lot of people think of her as just a pure shooter, but we saw her do a lot off the bounce, and she worked great in your press. So what was her versatility like to work with?
I think she's a tremendous shooter. Her defense has improved, but I'm going to tell you, Taylor's one of the hardest workers I've ever been around, if not the hardest worker. Mm-hmm. I'll give you a story because I love telling this story. Somebody from the WNBA actually called me about this story. And so, last summer we had camp. And camp, we had little kids camp. And little kids camp was from, the day camp, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., right? That's your typical day camp on a college campus. But before that, we did individual workouts. We did workouts. And so we would do our team workout, and all the coaches would be in there, and the team would work out from 8 a.m. to 8:45. And then before that, we would have the girls had weights from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Well, Taylor was getting up at 4:45 in the morning and then coming in, and she would do her shooting routine from about 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. before doing workouts. So she did that and this is what she does. She came in, she outworks people. So from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. she shot. 7 a.m. to 8 she lift. 8 a.m. to 8:45 she did the team workout. 9 a.m. to 4 o'clock she did camp. So just to give you an idea of how hard she works, and then in addition to that, every day at 7 a.m. to 8:30 you can clock work. She was in the gym shooting. And then even another story. So we are kind of a team where if it's an early game like that, that game in Seattle was a 1 o'clock game. So we're not going to shoot around for a 1 o'clock game. We do everything. We do all our work the night before. But her and Coach Carla got up the morning of that game, took the 30-minute shoot around time we had from 8 a.m. to 8:30, and she shot. And so that just tells you, like, she's obsessed with the game. You have to be obsessed to be that good. And it's just so rewarding to see her be the 13th pick in the draft because of that.
That's the Kobe clip that's going around. If you wake up at 4, you get this much working out. It's insane.
But a lot of people say it. Yeah, a lot of people say it, but to actually really see it, it's amazing. Like to see it in action, like you said, it's something different. You know,
he never mentioned sleep in the clip, which was shocking to me. But like I can't believe that she actually can do that, and like it comes out in her game. I think it came out with a lot of your team this year. Like I really just enjoyed the way you guys played together. And just really understood how to play in the system. I thought it was really great chemistry, and like yes, these players have played together, but like Cody's a freshman. Like there was a lot of change. And I feel like they've weathered that well.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that helped Cody, she came in last season, so she came in early, so she did the early thing where she enrolled in January, and so she practiced that whole January to April. She didn't play, but she practiced. So that gave her time to acclimate and get adjusted to what we do and learn what we do. But Cody she's a very special player. Her work, she also has a tremendous work ethic. And the thing that surprised me most about Cody, obviously she's a physical specimen, but her IQ for the game and her ability to pick things up and see things is also amazing too. And then the thing that also I think helped Cody, she was on that USA basketball team with Kiki Rice, and they both were top 5 on the top 5 All-Star team. So I think her experience with that, I think the coming in early with the practices, I think that helped put her ahead. So I think the best is yet to come for her, obviously.
Yeah, I was wondering about like where do you see her ceiling? I mean, just knowing what she's done in 1 year, Big Ten Freshman of the Year, obviously.
I think she's going to be definitely a future Big Ten Player of the Year. Obviously. I mean, I think that's if you ask me her ceiling, and then a top 5. It's so hard. The WNBA is so hard, and all those young women are tremendous, like just tremendous talents. But I think she's capable of being a top 10 pick, or not top 5 pick.
And I love asking about 2 players and hearing about their work ethic. It's wild to think about what this team could have been this year too. I mean, what its ceiling could have been, because I mean, we really haven't gotten a full season of Madison Green yet. JC Sheldon obviously is one of your premier players who dealt with, I guess it was a lower leg injury, knee, ankle. And I mean, to see her come back and play the way she did in the tournament was absolutely special. It felt like she didn't skip a beat. Crucial in that UNC game. My God.
Yeah.
Her comeback.
We don't win the game without her. And credit to UNC, but we don't win the game without her. I mean, that game was nip and tuck, and I mean, everybody said that was a great play, but it really wasn't a play. She just made a play, and I think that's part of kind of what we do. We try and work on making plays, but that credit to her. She made a play, and we needed it.
Yeah, I think Taylor told us at the draft. She's like, I saw Deja get hurt, and I thought we were going to be smooth sailing.
I think that's a player thing.
Yeah.
I knew. Knowing, Courtney Banghart does a great job at North Carolina, and so you just know that team was going to respond. They were going to, something was going to, I say, and the crowd kept going. I'm like, no, this ain't over yet. This is not over yet. Teams like this do not go away. I mean, it stinks. It's just a couple things. The parity of women's basketball is amazing. It's growing.
Yeah.
And then you just knew, like, that team, I mean, they were very easily could have been a Sweet 16 team as well. North Carolina's a very talented team and well-coached team. And we think, we put ourselves in position by hosting, and our girls played well enough to win the game. So,
yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of teams host and lose on that second round day.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
And you didn't want to pull it in Indiana. Shout out to Gabe's Canes.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Rooting for Big Ten, that was unfortunate. But this, like I said, I mean, teams are really good, and it's more. It's not. I think that's the thing that's helped the sport grow. It's not just about 4 or 5 teams anymore. This thing is anybody can beat you at any given time, and you got to be ready to play every night.
Yeah, the talent in the Big Ten is, I mean, one of the best years of Big Ten basketball in recent years, at least. I remember you tweeting the day of, I guess it was the Final Four game, about guarding Caitlyn Clark. What goes into that scout and prep for a player like that who really almost seems matchup proof?
She is very, very good. So Coach Calamaro, I've mentioned her a couple of times. She's responsible for our defense. She's our defense coordinator. And so, I mean, we just prepare. I mean, she prepares our team. It's one of those things where you just try to limit her touches. I mean, she's so good with the ball in her hands. And the thing that she's improved, I think, over the last 3 years is she's improved her pick and roll game, just seeing everything. Like, the thing is, this is my analogy. I'm a big football guy. She's Patrick Mahomes with the pass, with Steph Curry with the shot. And it's like,
yes,
that's a ridiculous combination. And so just her ability to see the floor, one of the things in the first matchup against them at our place, the thing that I was shocked was just the transition passes she was making. We're telling our kids get back in transition and telling our team, and I think we actually were doing a decent job, but the passes were just so elite. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I mean, what are you going to do? So
yeah.
She's a matchup nightmare. And so, I mean, the biggest thing is you kind of got to do what LSU did. She's going to get hers. You got to try and slow everybody else down. And they did a good job of that in the championship game. But I think that's the best game plan against her, because she's going to get hers. You know what I mean? We saw the first time ever she dropped 40 points back to back. I mean, that's unheard of in the NCAA tournament, as deep in the tournament as they went.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a respect to that, like understanding like who we're playing against and limiting as much as we can and being prepared for that kickback. But yeah, it's hard to implement your press when you're dealing with one of the generational talents.
Yeah. No, she's like it's hard to press them. It's hard to press, certain people. But I mean, we still attempt to do it, and that's what I mean. We got to play our game. We got to do what we do. But credit to her. She's really good.
And so when we're talking about the Big Ten, you've been in this conference for a while, and you came from Michigan to the Ohio State, which I'm guessing you didn't call it when you were at Michigan.
No, but it's TTUN now.
No, so I mean, you've been in this conference for a while, and you've like seen it grow, and this year was like its biggest year. So, like, what have you kind of taken away from your entire time in the Big Ten? Just like seeing how this conference has gotten so much better to being probably the top conference in the country during.
I think one of the things, the pace of play. I think people forget how fast the Big Ten is. I think we have 4 teams in the top 10 in scoring, 4 teams in top 10 pace of play. The pace of play is really, really fast. It's not your dad's or your mom's Big Ten, as they would say, right? So the pace of play is really, really fast. The offense is really, really fast. The coaching is really, really good schematically, offense and defense. When you talk about Coach McGuff, you talk about Lisa Bluter, Brenda Freeze, Kim Barnes-Arico at Michigan. You talk about all those. The coaching is elite, and then we got great players. Players make the plays. You know what I mean? From Taylor Mikesell, J.C. Sheldon, Cody McMahon, Taylor Theory to the Grace Bergers, Caitlyn Clark, Susanos, Diamond Miller. I mean, the players are really, really good. So I think you have a combination of pace of play, style of play, coaching, as well as players, and that's why the league has gotten so good. And I think the league is going to be even better. You got 2 new coaches coming into the league: Robin Fralick, Michigan State; Don, Minnesota. The coaching is getting better and better. So it's a tough league, top to bottom. You got to be ready to play every night, and so that's what makes the Big Ten, I think, one of the best conferences. And then I think you see all different types of style of play, 1 through 14 in the league. So it's not to mention in a year or so, you're going to get UCLA and USC here. So
yes,
it's a junior WNBA or semi-pro.
It's going to be. I mean, Lauren Betts also just went to UCLA. I don't know if you saw that today.
Nuts,
yeah, I'm sure
nuts,
you did.
Yeah.
And so with this conference getting so good and so fast, like you say, like your press like contributes to the speed of the conference, just like with the defense, not even mentioning the offense. Why do you think the press has been so effective at making this team just like ignite, and like why is the personnel fits so well into it?
Well, I mean, that's kind of how Coach McGuff crafted the team. That was his vision for the team. That's what he wanted to do. He studied the press for years, but now we just have the personnel to implement it. Our ladies buy into it. And then the other thing, the third part of that is after you have the vision and the personnel to do it and the buy-in for it, you don't see people press like that for 40 minutes every game. And we'll press off makes, we'll press off misses, and that's not something that you see. So until you see it up close in person, it's just one of those things. So it catches a lot of people off guard. As I told people when people first started, I say it reminds me of the Nola Richardson Arkansas teams back in the day when they pressed 40 minutes. And that's kind of what we set out to do. And it's been a game changer for us. So, and it's helped part of our identity. When you see Ohio State, you're going to get pressed. So, and our girls love it, and it's definitely, you play to your identity and you play to your strengths.
There were a few games this year where, Tennessee to start the season, Louisville to start the season, where I think you're down like 7.5. The press isn't causing too many turnovers, and I don't know if the intensity picks up or players are tired coming out of halftime, but then it's like something switches. I mean, Indiana in the Big Ten tournament, and the press just starts working better than it ever has before. What are there? I guess adjustments made to the press.
Yeah, it's an art to it. It really is. There's an art to it. So obviously everybody at the beginning of the game is ready for it, right? Because they prepared all week. It's fresh, But the thing is, you have to sustain that for 40 minutes, and if you can't sustain that for 40 minutes, we're probably going to get you. So that's kind of one of those things. So it's an art to it. We have different things we like to do out of it. Different looks, different calls, different all that. But it's definitely an art to it. It's definitely something that we work on every day, and we start in the summer and we build it all the way up. And so it's kind of one of those things. But we're we self-scout ourselves in it. We know what we want to do in it. We game plan around it. So it's just one of those things. Yep.
It's exhausting to watch.
It's fun to play.
I know, right?
It's fun.
I would have been dreading that game as an opponent my whole life.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think I saw a stat that UConn had only seen like 10% of their possessions of press. It was like I felt like it was a nightmare matchup for them, but then I'm like, it's Gino. He's gonna prep them. But it doesn't. And no matter how you scout it or work on it in practice, nothing really prepares you for that real thing. And you got speed.
Yes. Yeah. And we got personnel to do it, and we have speed. And I think that, like you said, until you see it for real, like somebody can tell you something, but till you see it, it's like, oh, okay, this is what they mean,
So Wes, what is like your role in teaching the press? Like I know you said another coach takes care of the defense. Do you get to specialize in more or less one thing on the staff?
I mean, Coach McGuff is very good about delegating roles and stuff. So he'll give everybody a part. But the press is kind of his baby, his brainchild and his baby. So he does a lot with it. Yeah. But we'll break up in groups on two ends, and we'll do different drills. I'll take a group and do a drill. Carla will take a group and do a drill. JP, our other assistant, Jalen Powell, she'll take a group and do a drill. And so we all get into it. And then Ryan Murray, our player development, he'll take the practice guys and he'll talk to them about it, and he'll break down the video for everybody to see it. So it's a group effort, it's a staff effort. We have a great staff, and I think that we all work together on staff. And so that's kind of, our staff is kind of really, really key to helping Coach McGuff implement and carry out the vision.
So what's your what's your role within the staff then?
So I help Coach McGuff with the offensive stuff.
Okay.
So me and him. So what I'll do, we break up our scout. So I would do kind of watch their defense and kind of say, okay, we can attack them here. Here's some plays we can do offensively. And then Carla does our defense. So she'll watch their offense. Like, this is how we got to guard them. And then Jalen Powell does all of our personnel.
Okay.
So we break it up like that. So we do every scout. So I do help Coach McGuff with the offense on every scout. And Carla does defense and JP does personnel. Okay,
so in your offensive plan, like, how much do you want to be letting the players freelance? Because I feel like, there's some coaches that like motion. Like, do you want them to just be freelancing most of the time and then obviously in transition, but in the half court?
Well, that's harder to guard, I think. Sure. Obviously, if you come down and run a set play every time, it's very difficult. It's a set play every time. It can be scouted, right? You can take things away. But when you got players that can make plays, and so we spend a lot of time on player development and skill development. Okay. Like our girls, they'll come in 30 minutes before practice, and we're doing skill stuff with them. During practice, we'll do a segment, 10, 15 minutes of player development, skill development. And so, as Coach McGuff said, I'd rather have players making plays than running plays. Now, we have a great offense. We have a great structure to what we do, but we want our players to be able to make plays within the framework of what we do. And we've done a great job, and there's a balance of that. And we scrimmage a lot in practice to allow that. So we'll come in and we'll play, we'll run our stuff, but we'll scrimmage a lot in practice so our players can practice making plays within the scope of what we do.
And I feel like chemistry's got to play a huge part in that. And getting those reps together. I mean, as a D3 player who never really had freedom outside of the Princeton offense, I can say with good reason, we did not work enough together to build that up. But I mean, you see it with I feel like every player. I mean, Ricky Harris had freedom. JC, obviously, Tayler. And I mean, for Tayler to get as many open shots as she did, with every scout knowing that she's looking to curl off a three, looking to fade, like that's incredible.
Yeah, it's a credit to Coach McGuff. We really work hard to get her those shots, but it's also credit to Tayler, who knows how to free herself up. She does such a good job of reading screens, knowing how to free herself up. I think that's going to be one of her strengths at the next level, is that she can get her shot off against anybody. So I think that's going to be really good for her, and I think we helped her improve on that and learn that. And I think she also made a comment, and we tell recruits this: the freedom that you're going to have to play in our system. She had a lot of freedom and it allowed her to grow. And you want to display the player's strengths. Obviously, we got to help them develop in their weaknesses, but you allow people to go to their strengths early on, and that's how they grow their confidence, and then we help develop them.
I mean, she was one of those players who was probably early before the transfer portal became what it is today, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess right after COVID, or was she at?
Yes.
Yeah, right after COVID. So getting a player, obviously, as talented as Tayler is, helps. But how difficult do you see to implement the system and the culture with players who do transfer into Ohio State?
I think you just have to get the right kids. It's all about fit. Mm-hmm. If you don't fit, I think the biggest thing people ask for. The portal's going crazy. I think to a certain extent, it's really not. It's about kids finding the right fit and finding, okay, can I maximize my game here? Can I? Is it a good fit on and off the court here? And sometimes what happens is kids will go a place and it's good for them for that certain period of time. And then now it's, okay, I need something different. And it's okay if you need something different. And so I think fit is the biggest thing. Fit and style of play. Fit with the coaching staff and how they teach and how they coach. fit with the players on the court, and then the style of play? Does it cater to your game? And so that's kind of what I think is the biggest thing, and kids need to really look at that when they do transfer portal, or even freshmen coming, a senior coming out of high school going to a college. They need to look at fit.
And I think sometimes it's also easier to know what you want after you've seen something. Like I feel like
absolutely,
when you're in the recruiting stage, it's easier to not. You're not there. You don't understand what college is yet. And I feel like once you see it, and then maybe you want to get something different, or you want to get another chance somewhere else. I mean, I know some players are in the transfer portal to get degrees at different schools, right?
Yeah.
So how much of your time now, like you're saying, you're making recruiting calls, how much of your time is spent in the portal?
I mean, I think you have to be selective. Okay. I don't think you want to build a team through the portal. I still think you want to build a team through high school recruiting. I mean, one of the keys for our success has been 2, 3, 4-year players, and those players playing together over a period of time, because it puts your offense, it puts your defensive concepts. You don't have to start over from scratch. You're that far ahead, but you do want to supplement like free agency through the portal. Like like let's say an NBA, an NBA team, they don't want to build. They want to build through the draft and then put some pieces through the portal, like the Warriors did a few years ago. They got Kevin Durant out of the free agency and put him over top, but they had built the team with Steph, Clay, and Draymond. So I think that's kind of the same model that you have to you have to take to the portal as well. And I mean, obviously Taylor Mikesell was one that did that. We'll see what happens here and see what we can do, in the portal this year. But I mean, I think the core, your basis of your team has to be high school kids and developing those high school kids. I mean, we still have Madison Green, who's going to come back, J.C. Sheldon, Taylor Theory, Cody McMahon. I mean, they're all high school kids who developed in the Ohio State system. And not only do they know the system, they know the culture. They know how we do things. They know how Coach McGuff wants things done. And they see things that are not being done the way Coach McGuff wants them done, they address them. So we have a player-led locker room as well, which is very important to being successful.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we had a lot of freshmen making moves this year. And it's like, I don't want to say I mean, like you said, it's a lot's about fit, but I mean, I think Utah has had they're going to have a nice class that's going to be juniors that have been together for a while. But it's getting to be a little bit more rare to see, 4, 5 core players come up the ranks at one school. And if that's the new norm, that's fine. But I definitely see the advantage of what, a class coming in, getting all those reps together can be.
And that's why they're hard to beat. And I think you heard Stark say it, they were one of the hardest teams to beat in the tournament. And that's the best team they played. And I think part of that is because Lynne has done a great job at Utah, and she molded those kids together, and they got a good system in place. And like, it's something to be said when you play. It's almost like back when we back about 10 years ago with the USA men's team, when they were playing all these European teams, and those European teams have been playing together for years and years and years. Yeah. But you just get a collection of talent, even though the USA probably was more talented, they hadn't played together and developed that chemistry. So when you know where people are going to go, you can pass to them without looking at them. There's I don't know if this is a word, synchronicity, that you get. They're in sync. You know what I mean? So that's really big. Chemistry and being in sync is really big in basketball.
What do you think for you personally? Have you gained the most out of the experience at Ohio State?
Well, I work with tremendous people, and I work with people who are way smarter than me. So going to work every day with people who are smarter than you, it's like, wow, okay. So I've grown a lot as a coach, X and O wise, defensively and offensively, because I think I work with some of the smartest people in the business. And I think that's another reason why we win, because smart wins. And so I think that's the thing I'm most grateful for. I work with smart people who are very, very smart, and they're probably, I would say, both the best at what they do. And then just been around great players, and it's been a great experience over my 2 years here at Ohio State, and we're looking forward to more winning, and just keep doing what I can bring to the table.
I love that. Gabe, that's what you need to pick up with your kids. Bring in some smart people.
Yeah, no.
I don't know about the great players thing. I haven't seen them play yet.
We got a couple. We'll be all right. But I think like, I think one of the things that's most impressive about where you're coming from is like you didn't play in college.
Mm-hmm.
You were a broadcast journalism major. I'm a broadcast journalism major.
Absolutely.
And so how'd you become a manager and decide like this was the career path at that point?
So I am a John Beilein disciple.
Mm-hmm.
So long story short, so I grew up in Richmond, Virginia. I actually went to high school with Patrick Beilein, who is John Beilein's son. So me and him, Coach Beilein known me since I was 16 years old. So that's the joke. You see me play sports and all that. But I actually went to West Virginia. I was a manager on the men's team, 8-20 season. I said, oh, God, this has to be a better way. I can do better than this. So, college kid, all right, I want to coach. So decided to coach. They brought Coach Beilein in that summer. I decided to do that. Just so happens that I knew him. So was with him, became his head manager for 2 years. Graduated. He thought I was too tight with the players. So he said, all right, Wes, you should go be the GA for the women's team. So GA for the women's team in West Virginia, Mike Carey. Did that for 2 years, was director of ops. And I said, okay, I don't want to be not on the floor. So got my first job at Robert Morris, Texas Southern, North Texas, Utah, Michigan, and now I'm at Ohio State. So long story short, just worked my way up, studied the game, always trying to pick people's brains. That's kind of how I got to where I am today.
That's just
the
amazing. That's amazing how it works out though. Like you just became friends with a friend in high school, and that ended up being something that paid off with just like fortuitously like that. Like and John Beilein to learn from him. And you know what? I know he coached. Like I knew he coached there. I totally forgot that it was so recent until I looked, because I've always thought like Huggy's been there.
Yeah,
Huggy feels like he's been there for my entire life. So like
John... that was the golden age of West Virginia basketball. Obviously, Huggins has done a good job, but in that time, this is a cradle of coaches. So I have a bunch of friends who are in coaching. So one of them, Joe Mazzulla, is the head coach of the Celtics. He was there. Mike Gansey's the GM of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Johnny West is the GM, is assistant GM with the Golden State Warriors. Wow. And so, Darius Nichols, he's a head coach at Radford. So it's a bunch of Beilein guys. Frank Young, he's at Appalachian State. It's a bunch of Beilein guys who are just coaching and doing their thing. And it just all came out at that same time. So it was pretty good. It's pretty good. We learned a lot of basketball from Coach, just to say the least.
Yeah, a lot of bright minds in that room. In that era.
So like I said again, just be around people that are smarter than you, they'll rise you to that level.
Yeah, I mean, I can only hang out with Gabe for so long. Then he has to live in DC. I gotta move down there. You did tell me to move this week.
I did tell you to move this week.
Yeah,
I live in Falls Church, Wes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What high school did you go to?
I went to Benedictine High School in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay, I think I've heard of them.
Yeah.
No, that's I coach at what was George Mason, but I'm not sure you would ever hear about us.
Yeah, well, my mom's from Fairfax, so my mom lives in Fairfax now, so I'm familiar.
There we go, Wes.
Area, yeah.
Oh man, that's great. I mean, we love seeing the Virginia kids go do big things like you're doing, and it's just, I mean. So what do you think you got from each coach? Like, what do you think is something you got? You said John Beilein, obviously, huge influence. But if you had to pick like one, like just tell us one thing or tell us whatever you want about something you got from each coach.
So I've worked for a lot of different coaches. So let's just work backwards, right? I think Kevin McGuff is like a John Beilein. I think he's one of the best X and O minds. He's like a renaissance. Like, I don't know, like what's the guy? I'm looking for the word. This when he could see X and O's and see plays and this.
Rain Man.
He is that when it comes to basketball and play. It's like, dude, like, so it's like it's intimidating a little bit. So he's that good with the X's and O's. I think Kim Barnes-Arico, she's great with culture, and she does a good job of building culture, establishing culture. Lynne Roberts is another phenomenal player relationships. with her players and in the offensive side of the ball as well. Just a great people person. It's not surprised how well they're doing because she's that good at that. I work for Mike Peterson, who's with the Atlanta Dream now in the front office at North Texas. So I think he was another great X and O minds, and he just has a good feel for the game of basketball. Karen Aston in North Texas, she was a great defensive coach. And then my boss at Texas Southern was a great recruiter, and then Sal Buscalia, he was just a great runner of programs. And so, I mean, I've seen every head coach have their strengths. And so that's, when people say, well, I don't know if she's going to be every head coach has their strengths. And I think the thing I've learned is you have to coach to your strengths and you have to build your program to your strengths. And if you do that, you can be a successful head coach. So obviously I want to do that. So hopefully my time will come one day, but you just keep learning from people and you keep growing your game and you keep, like players, you got to keep developing so that when you do have an opportunity, you can take full advantage of it.
So what would you say your strength is as a coach?
I think it's going to be a little bit of everything. I think obviously relationships with people. I think one of the things that has allowed me to elevate in the business is recruiting. So I'm not going to just not shy away from that. I'm going to recruit and be a good recruiter. I also think I think I have player development. I think I can do that very well. And then obviously I've learned a lot X and O wise offensively from the likes of Kevin McGuff and John Beilein. So that's probably would be my strengths.
Well, you're about to get dad strength added to the list. So I mean, absolutely. You cannot underestimate dad strength.
Yeah, yeah. Girl dad strength at that. So that's gonna be good. So
yeah, I mean, Gabe and I had a conversation with Coach Brooke Wyckoff from Florida State. She tried to convince us that having kids isn't that scary. I don't know where Gabe's at, but I'm still on I'm still sitting down.
Okay. Well, I'm excited about it. So I mean,
I'm pumped for you, man.
I'm not really nervous or scared about it. Just excited and ready to be opportunity. It's one of the things but I know you don't know what you kind of get into. It's like the press. You don't know what you're gonna you hear about it, but until you experience it, it's one of those things. So
yeah, well, we're super happy for you, and hopefully everything goes great. I'm sure the folks back in Columbus will have a nice red onesie. Is it just red? Is it scarlet red or something?
Scarlet and gray. So we'll get the scarlet and gray out for the baby, and it'll be great. And yeah, I mean, but this, like I said, before we end this our staff is great. From Coach McGuff to Carla Morrow to Jalen Powell, Ryan Murray, Reed Kansansky, Beth. We have great staff. And our strength conditioning coach, Claire Thibodeau. I mean, all those people, everybody asks, why is Ohio State so good? It's because the people that will make Ohio State our trainer. We have great staff, great practice players, great managers. I can't just thank our staff and thank everybody that we have. So it's the people that make Ohio State the place that it is.
Makes it the Ohio State.
Yes. It's the people.
That's an ad right there.
Yeah, I'm sold.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And Gabe, that's where I think Columbus, Ohio is where Jenny's ice cream is from.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I love Jenny's. We're big Jenny's guys.
Okay.
Yeah, huge. Yeah. I need to lay off the Jenny's, but yes. So good, man.
So we can make a trip out to Columbus at some point. I also see some great.
Love to have you guys.
Yeah,
I love to have you guys.
I worked in Easton for like 2 months.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, doing like tech consulting, and that's when I discovered Jenny's. And then I want to say like the NBA had like a preseason game there back in I think it was a year after the Cavs won.
Yeah, LeBron will always come back. Yeah. He is, LeBron is an OH guy. OH, that's his thing. So he actually hooked the girls up with the Beats headphones, and
all right. Since
we got all the LeBron shoes, so yeah, LeBron's a big fan of ours. So
does he get the coaches headphones as well?
Yeah, we got.
Okay, just making sure.
We got small little ones too. So yeah, he takes care of us, man. That's our guy. We love LeBron. He takes care of us. He is a big Ohio State guy. So
without having gone there, which is great. I wish there's a part of me. Obviously, LeBron entered the league when he was supposed to, but There's a little part of me that wishes he had to go to Ohio State like the players do now.
Yeah, that would have been something else. I think it would have been like one of those Kevin Durant years, Carmelo Anthony years. It would have been special. So it would have been special.
Well, I mean, what you can get the younger
But he
version,
did all right.
maybe.
He did all right.
He did okay. I would say things turned out okay for him.
Yeah. I'm just playing. I'm just it's just been really hard to watch James Harden. I haven't watched like any NBA all season. Obviously been kind of tied into, NCAA women's basketball. And I mean, I'm thinking about the point you brought up about speed. It's like it doesn't feel that much faster like anymore compared to like years past. I'm like, oh my god,
it's pretty fast. That's another level. It's pretty fast.
I think it's because I watched Harden.
You're watching the Sixers, man.
Yeah. I'm diving into the playoffs now. It's good basketball. Pretty stuff. Obviously, during a year, you don't really have time to watch as much NBA because you're getting ready for your season, you're getting ready for your games. But now I'm watching the playoffs, and the other thing is like this is another thing that we do is Ryan Murray, our video coordinator, he clips everything. So now during the off season, we'll watch a bunch of clips of different stuff and start getting ready for next year. So we take our style, we take a lot from the NBA. So it's fun to watch and to see what you can steal and learn from it. But I think it is a little bit faster. It's faster, no doubt.
He's watching the Sixers, which is slower because of James Harden.
Yeah.
He's still hitting the step back though.
Okay, watching Harden play on another team that's not my own is so much harder. It's so much harder. I
understand.
I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
I lived with this for like 10 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool.
Will you win the ping pongs? That's who's gonna win the ping pongs? Who's gonna get Victor Wembanyama? That's the key. That's too.
Or at least Scoot.
Yeah, I'll take
Victor
one or two.
Is something else though.
Yeah, I agree.
An alien.
Yeah, that's what you need at a certain point to get back to relevancy. That's another thing. I don't need to really be invested when my team is not winning more than 22 games. Yeah. But we'll get there.
Yeah. Well, actually, while we're talking about this, Wes, I wanted to ask, like, who do you think is running the best stuff? Because to me, I think the Kings right now, what they're doing is just incredible. I love that all the handoff actions they run with Sabonis. Obviously, something outside of play happened last night that was a big issue.
I think the Kings are incredible. The speed at which they play with is amazing. Mike Brown has done. I mean,
unbelievable.
The defensive drop off that the Golden State Warriors had because Mike Brown is with the Kings. I mean, he flipped that team. He got them playing defense. They playing at a good pace. I mean, I think we talk about what's going on. They miss Mike Brown, and Mike Brown is giving it to them. So the Bucks, we study the Bucks a lot. They do a lot of good things. Phoenix does a lot of good things. So it's spread out, and for us, we're a 5-out team. Everybody knows that we're a 5-out team. So we like to steal a lot from the NBA. We watch a lot of Euro ball. The Euro League is very good to us. So and the way Coach McGuff has designed, we can look at the concepts and see different concepts, and we can put anything in. And we have a language that we speak to one another, and the players know. And so I think we love just watching ball. It's we study it, and I would say, but this people I like to watch, the Kings, obviously the Suns, the Bucks, they're pretty good.
Dan, is your team the type of team that you can just say, hey, like in the game, like just do something like this, and they'll do it even if you guys haven't worked on it?
Well, to our credit, yes, we can do that. And Coach McGuff, obviously we practice a lot of different stuff. We practice a lot of different things. We spend time in practice on special situations, stuff like that. But Coach McGuff may have a sheet of plays, and Ryan Murray, our player development guy, he'll come and, hey, what do you think? Give him the McGuff, ask my input. We'll go from there, and we'll be like, okay, and he'll just draw something up, and we'll go do it. I'm like, oh wow, and then go back and look at it afterwards. I'm like, oh yeah, that's nice. So yeah, I mean, we have a smart team that can do it. We have very, very smart kids, and like I said, it goes back to our kids buy in to and believe what we're doing.
I love that. Do want to end with one last thing, but I may be forgetting the exact details of it. But Gabe, who did Taylor say Coach Brooks' favorite football team was? I know she was stumbling between two, and she was like, "Tell him the wrong one." But
I
now
know I want to get the wrong one. I don't remember who it is.
I know it's between the Niners and the Chiefs.
Oh, it's there's only one, the 49ers.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
everybody knows. I have no other team in sports, college, pro. Honestly, you know what I mean. I root for the Buckeyes because I'm at
Sure.
Ohio State. But the only team I have is the 49ers. So when the 49ers play, things shut down. My phone's off for 3 hours, and yeah, everybody knows. Leave Wes alone.
Why the 49ers?
yeah.
When I was 5 years old, my dad bought me a Joe Montana jersey. So I've been a 49ers fan
There we go.
I'll be 37 years. So
Wow.
I've seen the ups and downs. I've watched I can tell you, I remember the 88 Super Bowl, the 89 Super Bowl, the 95 Super Bowl. I can tell you, you name if they play for the 49ers, I can tell you who they are. I know the history of the program and everything. So I am diehard 49ers fan.
I was going to ask if you were a Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, or like
Yes,
which
I
one
am.
got you in. I feel like there's like 4 or
Joe
5
got
players
me
get
in.
you in.
Joe
Okay.
got me in. So,
But Joe did play for the Chiefs too.
Joe did play for the Chiefs.
In fairness.
But it was time for him to go. So I always ride with the team. So
Love that. Well, Debo's gonna do some magic this year again.
yes, Debo.
Let's hope. God, he's special.
That's what we hope. And hopefully we get Trey Lance healthy and we can make a run at it again. So
love it. It was a blast. We'll have to get you. I mean, we'll have to come out to Columbus. I have no problems coming out there.
We'll set you guys up. We'll show you guys a good time. Take you out to eat. It'll be good.
And it'll be basically be a home Final Four when the Buckeyes make it. Right? It's in Cleveland next year. Basically, home.
That's the goal. That is the goal. As the girls call her JJ from the land. That's they call JC. That's her nickname. So imagine JC playing in Cleveland next year. Wow, that'd be amazing. So
we're manifesting it, speaking to existence. Love it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you guys for having me.